I filled these 2 bags full of yarn, like so much yarn. Just finished one octagon. I have been working on all of the rows of the Persian tiles blanket one by one. I still have a decent amount of colors now, but especially as the octagon gets bigger and bigger, I'm going to have less and less color options to pick from. Hey guys, it's me, Rena from Snailworks Crochet, and today's video will be a continuation of me making the Persian tiles blanket with thrifted yarn. So depending on whenever this video comes out, whether I released it the week before or even like a month before, because I haven't figured that out yet. The general idea of my last video and also this video too was just I thrifted some yarn from like a secondhand craft store and a couple of thrift shops, and then I have chosen to make the Persian tiles blankets by Janie Crow from that yarn, and I intend to make it, wash it, and donate it because I like to make things, I don't like to keep things. That's kind of the vibe, and yeah, now we can continue with the clips I have filmed after my first video. Hey folks, you know how I mentioned I was starting to run out of colors? Well, I did end up getting extra colors from a friend of mine. I did not have to buy it, but it is secondhand, so it kind of fixes my conundrum. A friend of mine had some extra yarn that she was no longer using because her crochet phase has died, so I asked if I could take some of her yarn for this, and she said yes. So I got some, and she has more too, so in case I run out of colors from this, then I can see if I can ask for more, and that actually solves a major problem for the Persian tiles blanket, which is great. But I don't really have much other updates other than I'm still working at the octagons. I've been slowly chipping away at it, but I've also been deprioritizing it for other things, but you know how it is, right? Blankets are very long and very slow. 2 updates on the Persian tiles blanket. 1, I am on the row where I am adding these little fans here, and I'm doing that for like all of, you know, the octagons kind of at once. I have a whole pile of them, just letting you know. But I wanted to take this opportunity of the video to actually do a yarn haul of sorts of the yarn that I got from my friend. First off, she actually gave me this really cute sticker sheet. I don't know if they're actually on her website yet, but if they are, by the time this video comes out, I'll link it below. But they're super cute. She drew these stickers. It's so cute. I love them all. Let me show you the yarn. I specifically pick for this thing acrylic yarn because I'm gonna be honest, I would really hate to have a blanket that I have to hand wash. And I'm sure most people would too. Also, I plan to donate this blanket. So I like making things. I don't like keeping things. It's one of my many flaws. One of the many things I worry about when I started this hobby was, oh no, I'm gonna have so much crap. Anyway, I got some Red Heart Super Saver Yellow. I think I got some Karen Simply Soft in these colors. I got this red yarn. I think this one's also Karen Simply Soft. This one is Vanna's Choice yarn. It's a little bit thick, but I think I can work with it just fine. Yeah, it's a little bit thick, but I can work with it just fine. I just really like the color. I thought it was really pretty. And then this is like Red Heart Soft. Some of the lore behind this yarn. Some of it is stuff she bought, some of it is actually stuff she inherited from her grandmother at some point. And I know she has more colors, I just chose those because I figured those were the colors kind of missing from my initial yarn haul anyway. There was a lot of blues and pinks, and there were some greens, but there weren't a lot of like other colors. Like there weren't a lot of reds or yellows or like neutral colors. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I intentionally picked colors that would fill color gaps in what I had currently. So that's the thinking. Okay, so a little update on the blanket. This is all the stuff I have right now, okay? It's a lot. Okay, so all of these have like the little fans added, and then about half of these have like the next round on it where I do a row of single crochets around the fans, but I am low on yarn. No, I'm not low on yarn, that's wrong. For example, these small scraps of yarn that I was using in the beginning, I can't use these anymore. There's not enough yarn here. So I'm gonna have to save this for whenever I make either the granny squares or the granny square triangles whenever I continue this. I also found that the colors from the granny square all-in-one yarn, for example, this color, so this is like the fourth color in that granny square all-in-one yarn, and I had to tie on a couple of pieces in order for it to work around this layer, and I could do that, but I feel like that low-key defeats the point. I mean, like I will have enough yarn if I were to just to tie on colors from that yarn, but I kind of want to avoid doing that. So this kind of marks the end of me actually using the Granny Squirrel all-in-one yarn for this project, at least for the octagons, not for the squares and triangles. I've been okay at weaving in my ends as I go. Like again, it's not perfect, but for example, when I've been adding on the single crochet layer here, I was able to like kind of get some of the ends woven in here by crocheting over them and then just snipping them. Not all of my ends are woven in, but a decent amount are. Not like I haven't done anything, but it's not like perfect either. But because I am running out of some colors, I've actually started dipping into the yarn that my friend gave me. So you can see this is from that selection. And I have a couple more colors I can dip into, which is good because, again, I needed more colors and more variety, though I am getting kind of close to the end of the octagon, at least where I need different colors. After this row, I have one more row where it needs a different color, and then I will go on to using basically the same colors to tie everything together. So if you see on this, for example, there's black, white, brown, white, brown. The last 5 rows of these tiles will be the same. It's just that, you know, the rest of the middle will be different and a little bit eclectic. Look, it's gonna look like a rainbow barfed on it, and that's okay, because that's kind of the beauty of the Persian towels blanket in the first place. Man, that's kind of where I am with this blanket. It's taken me a hot while, but I am liking how it's turning out. I think my problem is more so I just need to focus on making it versus like not doing anything, because I've like low-key been prioritizing it, low-key have not been prioritizing it. I've been working on other things too, so that's kind of why it's taken me a while to make blankets, and honestly, that doesn't shock me in the slightest. So that's how I am. I think after this, I'm not making a blanket anytime soon. This is making me rethink a couple of things. Maybe my thing is I make one blanket from scratch like once a year or something. I don't know. But I'm gonna be crocheting while I talk to you guys because I can. I was trying to look up some videos of people making the Persian towels blanket in video form, like how they decided to approach it. So there are 2 videos I found. One is by Kali's Threads, but the thing is, she kind of gave up on finishing it after making the 16 octagons. And I'm like, you know what, girl, valid. And, you know, I was kind of inspired by her shorts to complete my Persian tiles blanket this way anyway, because I kind of appreciate her approach of doing all the tiles all at once, because it kind of just means you're doing it all at once. And I don't know, I have been finding doing it that way makes it easier on the mind, because you're still getting kind of like stimulated by changing things up, but you'll also get the satisfaction of actually finishing everything all at once, which will be very useful because there's 16 of these and this thing is huge. The other videos I found of people making the Persian tiles blanket is by Tammy Mom Craftpreneur, and she split it up into multiple episodes, but her videos are more of like vlog style anyway, where she kind of updates you as she goes, and she also uploads like multiple times a week anyway. So in those videos, she kind of works on the blanket passively as she prepares for markets in the background. I don't necessarily think it's fair for me to kind of use her format too, because she has like 5-part episodes of her updates on the Persian tiles blanket. So it's kind of tricky for me to figure out what I want this video to be, right? Because again, this was supposed to be a one-off video. I have decided to do it in parts, but now I'm like, okay, do I only do 2 parts and finish the entire blanket? Or do I make even a 3rd part where the 3rd part is me finishing everything else after the octagons? Because these octagons are taking a hot while. I was rewatching the part where I decided to split off, and I was thinking, okay, well, that's a good like intro to the yarn, at least, like, you know, intro to what I'm doing. So that's a good part 1. So, and this is part 2 technically, but is part 2 going to be me finishing the blanket, or is part 2 going to be me finishing the octagons? And then I have a part 3 where I actually finish the blanket with everything else. So that's where I'm like conflicted on. I guess you'll find out if I have a part 3 or not later on. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Part of me really wants to finish this blanket before February for a couple reasons, because I am actually gonna be out of town for basically like half of February, because I'll be going to DC for a concert. I'm going to see Twice, and then I'll be going to Houston to see my family right after, and then right after that I'm flying from Houston to a work trip. I'm going to have a event packed February with back-to-back travel, but at least it's not like work travel, it's at least fun travel. As I'm filming this today, in terms of like time frame, right, of when videos are ready, the video where I crocheted my engagement top just came out. So I have a video planned, you know, for next Saturday, but afterward, I don't really have a video planned. I could just say like, oh, I'm taking like a break because I'm gonna be traveling and out of town for like 2 weeks, or I can like upload these videos to kind of fill that gap between the time I'm traveling and the time I get back. So I don't really know exactly, but that's kind of my idea. It would be awesome if I could finish this blanket before like the end of the month, but I feel like that's very, very, very unlikely. I also would like to have this blanket done so that way I can get started on other things. You know, every time I look at these colors, it's so chaotic, and they're like high-key kind of ugly. I'm a little concerned, but the thing kind of giving me a little bit of like, just wait and see, is the fact that all of these will have the same outline border to kind of tie everything together. If it's ugly after that, then I don't know. I will cry if it's actually that ugly.
Months. And when I say months, I mean like a good 3-4 months now. I have been waiting for this exact moment, and it has finally arrived on a whole needle size to do the ribbing. So this is where I am right now.
Okay, so I'm finished with the last row of colors, and I have started working on the rows where everything is the same color moving forward. And already I can tell that I don't have decision fatigue anymore, which is quite nice. I've just been going through all of these, you know, adding in that one row of black. And for reference, it's going to be black, white, brown, white, brown. That's how the last 5 rows of these octagons are going to be. I've also made the executive decision that I'm going to finish the octagons and finish this video, and then I'll have a part 3 where I finish the rest of the blanket. That way it'll be more manageable on me for video planning. Also, today is January 30th, and there is literally no way I can finish this by the end of the month or even before I leave. If I did, that'd be wild. Okay, just wild, but that's not happening. Okay, little update on the blanket. So I missed my initial goal of finishing before the end of February, but I'm about this far in all the octagons, but I have 3 more rows to do for each of these octagons. And it's basically alternating this, white, and ending with this. So it's like I have a brown color, a white color, and one last brown color, and that's the end of me finishing the octagons. I'm actually running low on white, mainly because, you know, at this point, it's eating all of the yarn, which is good because it means I'm actually using the yarn, but I don't have another white left of the yarn that I thrifted, but I think I'm just going to use scrap yarn to make up the difference because I have this color in like Pound of Love or something. And this specific yarn in the thrifted yarn is literally a vintage yarn. I guess a little bit off topic, I regularly track the yarn I use. I actually finished a half skein of one of the vintage black yarns, and so when I track my yarns, I want to put in all the specs for it. And in trying to do that, I had to obviously look up and research the yarns, find out that a lot of the yarn that I thrifted at Creative Reuse, however many months ago that was, is considered vintage yarn, which I found very interesting. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not surprised that it's vintage yarn, but it's like one of those things where people are selling it on eBay as vintage for the sake of like historical collections or something like that. I mean, it's acrylic and obviously yarn has changed a lot, but I just thought that was kind of cool. Not cool enough for me to seek it out again because it's definitely itchy and scratchy, but you know, it's still fun. It's still interesting. Yeah, when I run out of the little bit of the white skein I have, I'm planning on just using scrap yarn that I have in my stash because I don't want to get more yarn. Especially now that I finished these octagons, I don't need more colors because when I go to the next part of completing the blanket, of making the granny squares and the triangles and all that, I have enough of these small scraps that I'm not going to need more yarn for this. I think I will actually have enough for those, you know, squares. And I re-looked at the number I need of the squares. I need 12 triangles and 9 squares. And there's a lot of colors in the squares and the triangles, but obviously I need significantly less yarn for that. And obviously, this octagon, for example, is like at least 16 rows of stuff, whereas the square is like, what, maybe 9. Even less than that. I don't remember exactly. And I have the same kind of outline as the octagon where I'm gonna have it be like black, white, brown type of situation going on. So that's even less colors. It's a whole thing. So that's my update. As I'm filming this, next week I'm gonna be leaving here for about 2 weeks, aka I will be away from yarn, so I am definitely not bringing this with me. So I would like to at least finish the octagons before I leave, and then when I get back I can work on squares and the triangles and all that. But I want to finish the octagons and at least put them together first. I have weaved in basically all the ends, and I've been weaving in as I go, and now I'm at the point where it's significantly easier for me to weave in as I go because I basically kind of do my way of crocheting in ends, and I'm pretty satisfied with how these are looking. Honestly, now that they're like next to each other, it looks a lot better. It really does help to have like a common border tying everything together. I have officially finished all 16 of the octagons of the Persian tiles blanket. This is the yarn I have left over, or I guess the brown yarn I have left over. It's like mostly used, and keep in mind this was a full skein before, and now I have this much of the skein. I'll definitely have enough to do the squares and the triangles and the border because I have another one, but yeah, that's how much of the brown it used. This thing is a yarn eater, but right now let me go ahead and arrange these and try and sew them up together so that way we can kind of get that thing done. Okay, so I'm kind of getting tired of sewing these right now. Frankly, I don't want to do it anymore, or for now. I will just pick this up later, but I'm gonna end my video here. Thank you for watching, and join me in the next video where I will be making all the squares and triangles and finally putting this sucker together. Let me know down in the comments below, have you ever made the Persian tiles blanket, and how long did it take you? Because I can completely understand some folks just making the octagons and saying, you know what, I'm good for now, because that's exactly what I'm doing. Especially now that I'm gonna go on my trip in a couple days. I think that trip will be a good break from this project for a good while, and I'm gonna keep it that way. So, bye! So when I say I have tiny scraps, these are what I'm talking about. I definitely can salvage them for like a couple more, but I'm really glad it's like down to this, honestly. Everything else just feels easier, honestly, comparatively. And it's kind of wild almost, you know? Like I don't know how to explain it otherwise. I just finished seaming up all of these hexagons, and now there's still more to do for the blanket.